Oh my God! What's going to happen to Matt Lauer? What's going to happen to Charlie Rose, that sweet old man? What's going to happen to Lake Wobegon now that Garrison Kieler has lost the keys to the city? What is going to happen to Louis C.K. the next time he's on the road and he's got nobody to jerk off to? These are excellent questions, and all of these questions can be answered in one way. And that way is this: who gives a fuck? I don't give a fuck. I got lots of fucks to give. I'm not giving any of those fucks to those guys, and let me explain why. You see, I happen to be the father of 3 beautiful teenage girls. They are delightful. And I, as a father, want to protect my girls from the realities, the cold, harsh realities of a male-dominated world. And in order to do that, I have to accept the fact that they will, as they move forward into adulthood, be in proximity to very arrogant men who believe that their sexual needs are more important than the needs of my 3 teenage girls. I can assure you, sirs, that is not the case. You see, your sexual needs in the workplace have no business in the workplace. The workplace is a place for work. It is not a place for sex. I'm not saying that sex isn't great. Sex is terrific. But sex is terrific between consenting adults. It's not great when somebody tries to manipulate somebody into sex, or to use sex as as almost like a weaponized destructive mechanism. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to have consensual contact with somebody. It's another thing to have sex be part of their employment, and that's bad. In fact, it's illegal. In fact, it's terribly illegal, and that's why Matt Lauer is out pushing tin cans out of his dumpster right now. Here's the thing that I find rather shocking, and I'm not just hearing it from other men, I'm actually hearing it from other women, and I don't get this part at all. At all. And that's this. I have heard women say, well, if this kind of thing happens to me, I would have told my boss or my supervisor immediately, or I would have told the police immediately. I would have pressed charges right away. It's easy to say this, but what is important is understanding that the reason why victims, and these are victims, don't necessarily report right away is because of a psychological thing that occurs with a lot of abuse victims, and that is to be consumed by fear, self-doubt, to be consumed by intimidation, to feel manipulated, to feel humiliated, to feel embarrassed, to be second-guessing your every move. And what happens is that sometimes when someone is abused, they just suppress those feelings because the brain has a wonderful capacity for self-preservation. And sometimes to go and press those charges or to file a complaint means that you are actually potentially putting yourself in a less safe environment than the unsafe environment you are already in. You see how weird that is? You see how that kind of would fuck your mind up a little bit? Well, that's what happens. And so sometimes when somebody fails to notify anybody, it's because they're dealing with something very, very painful and very, very difficult. So when somebody has the courage to say, you know what, this is wrong and I am going to file, that's when you start to see other people say, okay, the door has been opened, let me share my story now. So when you look at a guy like Bill Cosby, for example, and all of a sudden the doors are flung wide open, and you've got a million women out there saying, "Yeah, you know what? That miserable son of a bitch did the same thing to me." Or when you have someone like Matt Lauer and say, "You know what? I didn't say anything, but the same exact thing happened to me." Or when Kevin Spacey gets jacked up, someone says, "You know what? That son of a bitch did the same thing to me too." You got to understand, these are the same kinds of issues that happened in abusive families, spousal abuse, clergy abuse, you name it, emotional abuse. All these things are suppressed. People are afraid. You want to know why people aren't talking about it? Is because they're afraid to talk about it. And that's the whole thing. I hope that if anything like this happens to my daughters, they at least have the trust in me to tell me. And then I'll kill the guy. It's as simple as that. But I got to tell you, this is getting to be very eye-opening for a lot of people. And people say, well, how could Garrison Kieler, of all people? Well, maybe Garrison Kieler is a horny old bastard, and we just don't know. And a sexually inappropriate man. We don't know. Louis C.K. seems like he's an hilarious comic, but he just likes to pull his dick out and masturbate with it in front of women. That's what he does. And it's a violation. It's a violation. So, dudes, let's just try not to be idiots anymore. Let's try to respect everybody around us, everywhere. That would probably work out so much better.